Peace be upon you, friends. With you is your friend Darum. I ask you to support the channel by subscribing, liking, and posting motivating comments and an enjoyable viewing experience for you. Within seconds, I found myself in the far west of the Atlas Mountains, where he landed me in one of its valleys, then left me. It was night, around 9 in the evening, and the place was deserted and dark, so I sat on the cold sand, mixed with small rocks until I fell asleep. I only noticed a voice alerting me and saying, "Wake up, Mr. Blogger." So I opened my eyes to see Jand extending her hand to me to help me get up, and Jassar next to her, looking at the horizon. I turned my gaze to where Jassar was looking, and in the darkness of that night, I saw a majestic sight. I saw thousands of radiant eyes like cat eyes looking at me, and when I was about to stand up, they dropped down as if they had knelt down. Jassar motioned with his hand for them to leave, and in the blink of an eye, they all disappeared. Jassar turned to me and said, "Welcome back, sir." Jund held my hand while smiling and motioned for me to move toward a cave that was behind us between the mountains. I walked with her and Jassar followed us. When we entered the cave, the place lit up as if 1,000 candles had been lit in it. We advanced and went deeper into the cave until we came to a huge throne made of rocks that settled in the middle of the cave. Then Jassar motioned with his hand for me to sit on the throne, so I went to the throne, which was too big for me to sit on, as it was suitable for the size of a larger body like Jassar's, but I went to him and I sat on it. And the moment I sat down, Jassar and his sister Jund bowed in front of me and said with one voice, "We await your order, mister." He remained silent for a while, then I asked Jassar and said, "What are you talking about, Jassar?" Jassar said to me, "Since your departure, I have been rebuilding my father's kingdom, the great kingdom of the dunes, to restore it to its former glory. I did that and did not stop there. Rather, I controlled many of the tribes that did not submit to my banner." I said to him, "I know that, Jassar. I read all of that in the blogs that you sent me." He said, "But what you do not know, sir, is that there are those who are tampering with my kingdom and trying to destroy it." I said to him, "Do you mean the 10 believers?" He said, "Yes. Since the death of their fallen master, Malus, they have been trying to avenge him or die as martyrs in order to achieve that." I said to him, "But the blogs mention that their numbers do not exceed 1,000, and your army, as I saw abroad, is much more than that." He said, "If they were facing me in a direct battle, I would have crushed them, but they attack me back and forth, and this matter exhausts my army and exhausts my nerves." I said to him, "What do I have to do with this matter, Jassar?" He said to me, "After I had given up on confronting them face to face, I recruited an infidel companion among their ranks because, unlike their perished leader, they do not accept infidel devils among them, so I made him claim that he is a believer and wants to participate in their endeavor, and he is my only source of information, and he told me yesterday that they are seeking to kill you." So I said, "Did he kill me? Why me?" Jassar said, "Because you are the one who freed me to kill Malus on that night in which he attacked Jund in his attempt to avenge the killing of his friend, Salem." I was silent for a while, then I said, "What do you intend to do, Jassar?" He said, "I will protect you by keeping you with me until I exterminate them all." I said to him, "Jassar, your battles will continue for dozens of years, and I may die before you finish exterminating them." He said, "I will make you live in bliss and prosperity. You will not need anything from your world while you are here among us." I said to him, "Can you compensate me for my family and my life?" He said, "If you order, I will bring them all to you here." I shouted at him without thinking and said to him, "No, do not involve my family in your world." For the first time, I saw Jassar afraid, as well as Jund. I did not have any physical strength to compare to them, but when I shouted at them confidently, they seemed extremely afraid. After my conversation with him, I ordered Jassar to leave with his sister so I could think about this matter, so they left without discussion. Days passed when I was in that place, and only Jassar would enter after asking for permission. He would accompany me every day to the foot of the mountain because of my urgent need to get out of that cave and breathe some air. I would ask him to leave me alone despite his reluctance, fearing for my safety, but I insisted because I wanted to feel the freedom that had been taken from me. Once again, I woke up one morning and was waiting for Jassar to come in as usual and take me to the foot of the mountain. So I sat waiting for him, thinking alone for a period that did not exceed 10 minutes, until I heard a voice at the entrance of the cave saying, "May I enter, sir?" It was not the voice of Jassar who asked for permission to enter, so I told him, "Enter." Then the owner of the voice entered and I saw his face. It was a shock that made me stand on my feet, opening my mouth and eyes. The one standing in front of me was Amar, and before I could say a word, he said to me, "Do not be afraid. I am not your friend whom you betrayed." So I remained silent, and the sweat began to fall from my forehead. Then he continued his words and said while smiling, "I am here, the servant of your servant, Jassar, and I no longer have a home after you betrayed my friend, Amar. I am Rami, the companion who witnessed you and your hand that placed that branch under my friend's pillow." My breath became short and my heart began to beat, and I said to him without thinking, "What do you want?" He said, "Nothing." I said to him, "Don't be evasive and talk to me about it. Express what's on your mind." Rami looked at the throne that was behind me and said, "To sit on that throne." I remained silent in shock and said to him calmly, "How do you intend to achieve this?" He said, "This is the least ransom you can offer me after killing the man who sheltered you in his house for 3 years. So I shouted at him and said, "Amar did not support me. Amar deceived me and took advantage of me." He said, "Let us not worry or delve into the details now. The bottom line is that you helped kill him, and Jassar and Jund do not know that. And when they asked me about that night in which Amar was killed and about the identity of who killed him, I told them that I do not know who killed him. Because Amar had freed me and sent me on a mission that night. And of course, this is not true, because I was there and saw you placing an olive branch under Amar's pillow, and I saw the bastard, Dain, entering behind you to take my friend's head off. I used to hear the words of Rama and say to myself, how did I not pay attention to the companion of Amar when I had gone through all these events and matters with the devils and the peers? And how did Dain not pay attention to that? But in a moment of thought, I realized that I would be doomed if I did not cooperate with Rum, or at least hire him until I found a solution to deal with him. I sat on the cold stone throne and said to Rami, trying to hide my nervousness from his words, "What is required of me now?" Rama said, "Now you have begun to think intelligently. Listen, Kuf. Isn't this the name my friend called you?" I said to him, "Yes." He said, "I don't want anything from you except for you to be under my command and carry out everything I order you to do until I get rid of Jassar and his prostitute sister and obtain his throne and kingdom." I said to him, "How do you intend to do that?" He said, "Don't worry. The details are none of your business. All that is required of you is that you do what I ask of you on time, and any hesitation or lack of response from you, I will go to Jassar and his sister and tell them what you and Dajan did." So he remained silent, and Amar's companion disappeared. I sat on Jassar's throne, and I was in amazement at what I heard. After an hour, Jassar asked permission to enter me, so I gave him permission. He entered with a group of female demons and said, "Do you give permission, sir, for these guards to remain with you?" So I asked him, "Why are they all female?" He said, "Because they are not only for guarding, but for entertaining you in your loneliness." I said to him, "I don't need any entertainment, Jasar. Just let them stand at the entrance to the cave." He said, "Listen and obey." Jasar ordered the guards to come out and stand in front of the cave entrance. Then he approached me and said, "I have good news for you, sir." I said to him, "What is this news, Jasar?" He said, "The spy I told you about told me that 5 of the 10 believers will be present near here, and there will be a good opportunity to kill them because they are alone, and most of our armies are concentrated in these mountains." I said to him, "Why did they come here without guarding?" He said, "They came on a suicide mission in an attempt to kill you after they learned that I sheltered and protected you." I said to him, "Where is the happy news here, Jasar?" He said, "It will be a great opportunity to get rid of them because they will rely on the element of surprise, thinking that we do not know anything about their plan, and that will be our weapon against them, as I am determined to set a trap for them in the place where they decided to attack you." I said to him, "Where is this place?" He said, "The foot of the mountain where I used to go every day at dawn in order to forget the atmosphere and loneliness of the cave." I said to him, "Are you sure of this information?" He said, "Yes, and you can hear that from the spy himself." Jasar shouted to summon the spy and said, "Come, spy, before your master." Then Rama entered, and a disgusting smile appeared on his face. He told me what Jasar had said, and I knew at that time that there was a trick, and that Rama might be cooperating with the 10 believers to achieve his personal goals, the most important of which was getting rid of Jasar. When Rami finished speaking, I ordered him to leave. He looked at me with a strange look, which Jasar noticed, so he slapped him in the face and said, "Don't stare at your master like that, slave." Then Rami left the place, and Jasar said, "Are you ordering me to kill him, sir?" At that moment, I found salvation from the threat of Rama appearing in front of me, in my hands, waiting for a sign from my finger, but I could not give an order like this, as my humanity was still pulsing within me despite the demons that were and still are surrounding me. So I said to Jasar, "No, leave him." Jasar remained silent in disappointment, as if he wanted me to give the order to kill Ram. Then he said, "May I go after the 5 sent to kill you, sir?" I said to him, "When do you intend to attack them?" He said, "Their arrival will be at the full moon." That was a few days later, and I said to Jasar, "Let me think a little, and I will tell you my decision later." He said, "Listen and obey, sir, whenever you want."